So we're continuing to our last speaker before lunch. We're welcoming Melanie Mohr, who is a digital entrepreneur with more than 20 years of experience in producing and telling stories with video, and she's also the founder of the commerce app YEAY. So please welcome her up on stage.
So, hi, I'm excited to be here. What a great event, and yeah, former speaker made me, I don't know, a lot of goosebumps. I'm Melanie. I'm the founder of a social commerce platform called YEAY. And I'm coming out of 20 years of media business, video content creation, dived into the digital space around 8 years ago. And in end of 2015, I had this idea of what would happen if Snapchat and eBay would have a baby version. And yeah, started with a small team out of Berlin, building a platform that is called YEAY, and it is I would say currently one of the leading video shopping places, especially for a younger generation called Gen Z teenagers. Yeah, it's video shopping for mainly used by teenagers. So we went out of beta in 2017 with yeah, great luck. We were early discovered by Product Hunt, and Ryan Hoover, the founder of Product Hunt, a Silicon Valley tech blog, made us trending app on Product Hunt. That led to Apple discovering us, and they wrote us a very nice email and visited us a couple of times and decided to help us going out of beta in 2017. And with that, in 2017, they pushed us out of beta. You just heard from the former speaker about how difficult it is to get recognized as a game in the market, and same for mobile apps. So if you really release a mobile app into the App Store, no one might discover you. But we had this luck that Apple said, no, we love what you're doing, and we are helping you getting out of beta. And so I think it needs to work without a presentation. So actually, they pushed us out of beta. We had 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 downloads immediately, and yeah, teenagers from all over the world downloading our platform, using our platform initially to sell their used goods. And so it was a kind of flea market solution where you could create a video and sell your used stuff. But we went out of beta and had downloads in 160 countries. And no one ever thought, you know, that something crazy like this could happen. And so used goods selling is hyper-local. So it was not really a good use case anymore, because usually when you want to sell your used stuff, you want someone who picks it up around the corner, or people who are purchasing don't want to pay shipment, crazy amounts of shipment to get a used pair of sneakers across the ocean for $40 additional shipment costs. And so we were kind of, shocked from this whole and overwhelmed from this whole development. One second. And said, okay, what does work and what doesn't work, and how to get to make it work. So it was clear from the beginning, and what we have seen is that we were right with the target group. So the teenagers were the ones who created all this wonderful content about their beloved products. But coming back to, sorry, I'm now a little bit in between my slides because it didn't work in the beginning. So what is great about teenagers is that they are not what you think they might be, or there are a lot of myths around teenagers. For example, that they are living at home mainly, that they are moody and broke, and exactly the opposite is the case. They are very dynamic, they are very entrepreneurial, they are because they are the real digital natives, they love to create content, they are very creative, and they are also kind of very affluent. They have a lot of money already available, and it was never like that before, that a generation had so much, on the one hand, money available, and on the other hand, influence on money spent in families. And I know it in a way out of my teenage time. There was always, the kids, what they are saying, who trusts or believes in that. But nowadays, I'm also, besides being a serial entrepreneur, I'm a mother of 3, and 2 of them are teenagers. And I know that, let's say, I would like to buy a car. I for sure share this choice with my teenagers. If they say it's uncool, I'm potentially not buying the car. So this is, how they influence my decisions, and that's in a way across the globe in any kind of family the same. Why? It's because we have seen that they are a mobile-first generation. They have information at their fingertips. And if you compare them to millennials were mainly the ones who grew up, of course, in a digital world, but they were still mainly on their computers, on their laptops at home, and they were searching. They had all these wonderful websites and blogs. But now the teenagers, they grew up with a mobile phone in their hand. They started doing the first pictures when they were 5 or 6. They started to do videos when they were 8 or 10. And so now we are really looking into a generation that is very interesting because they have no memory of a pre-social or pre-mobile world. And so this is, in a way, they are totally different. They are creators, they are consumers, and they are entrepreneurs. And if you look into the market of Gen Z, it's really the biggest demographic on the planet. And just in the US alone, it's 65 million teenagers that are in this demographic. And it's also 40% of consumers by 2020. And to learn from them, so we really reached out to our crowd, to our users, and said, hey, this used goods selling, somehow it's not sufficient because we launched global, we have downloads in 160 countries. What to do next? And so we actually were very lucky that we had amazing users that came to UI UX labs. They answered a lot of questions when we reached out to them, and we also implemented an advisory board consisting of teenage entrepreneurs. And so what we have seen is these teenagers, they are growing up in a world full of automation and pervasive AR and VR. And this means automation, or things that to create software and to create processes that are totally seamless. It's on the one hand, of course, great. And that's also what everyone, of course, should or wants to use software that is making life easier. But on the other hand, also this generation thinks, okay, wait, what's going to happen with jobs, and how to find jobs. So they are already seeing, okay, where's our future? And on the other hand, video is on the rise everywhere, and with video, of course, also gamification and the between virtual reality, augmented reality, and reality, it's blurring, And so the next thing now we are all facing is, of course, the rise of cryptocurrencies, and that's where teenagers are also on the forefront, because that's a totally unbanked generation, and they don't have yet bank accounts. They don't have PayPal accounts, so they are way more likely to just jump over this and get into this next phase of, in a way, evolvement and evolution of money. And so if we look into teenagers, it's not only that we look at them and think, or also for us, for our commerce platform, we didn't look into them to say, okay, let's really just take them because they are good in all these different things, from content creation to distributing content. It's when we're looking at them and how they behave, we have this access to see the future, because they are already in this world where it's a total seismic shift, and there is there's this whole trouble in paradise. And that's also why we already saw this kind of relation between looking into teenagers and how they are viewing things, and looking into the future of blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and how things are going to develop. Because a lot of hurdles and challenges these teenagers are already seeing in the environment, blockchain has a solution for that. I don't know, because it's the time is too tight to really dive into what blockchain is, but is someone here who has already some experience or some knowledge about blockchain or cryptocurrencies? Okay. So a few, I try to show you how this is changing our product, because that is actually what happened. We created this teenage advisory board now for our own product, and they said, hey, instead of making videos about products teenagers we want to get rid of, make a product that is about videos that with products we love. So let us create content about products we are passionate about. Let's say coming out of a sneaker store, I love my new sneakers. That's the moment when I create a little video, and you as a shopping platform take care that somehow people can purchase this sneaker I'm promoting. So we really turned our product from a used goods flea market platform into a peer-to-peer product recommendation engine. So now everyone can create a video about a product he or she loves and share this video with friends. They can shop from the video, and everyone is not only getting an honest and good product recommendation, but everyone can also earn something out of this and gets rewarded. And this is actually a point where our teenage advisory board came in. I met through the process of creating the product for YEAY. I met amazing teenage entrepreneurs from around the world. And after a while, I thought, I need their expertise. And not only, with user labs and UI UX labs, we anyhow did, but teenage entrepreneurs, of course, are they are already in business. They already have their social media agencies. They already have their tech companies. And so to give you a little overview of our Young Entrepreneurs Advisory Board, there's, for example, Itai Pincus. He's from Tel Aviv, and he was already in the Forbes list 30 under 30 when he was 14. So he has already launched 30 apps in the App Store, and he runs an own agency, a social influencer agency, has a couple of employees, so a really very successful entrepreneur from Israel. But there's also Harshita Arora. She is an entrepreneur and programmer from India, and she's 16, and she just recently launched the most beautiful and most successful crypto price tracking app out there. And it is she already exited this app and sold it to a venture capital company. And then we have Alex Choi, who is also a tech entrepreneur, and he created the so far most successful global teen entrepreneurship conference on this planet. And it's so inspiring to have them included. They are really helping us creating our product and making it better and better for our users. And they said now that in a way, every content creator gets rewarded for engagement on the content and transformation into sales. So they really get a cut out of every sneaker or whatever product it's sold when they create a video. And they said, but the product is great, it's amazing, we love it, but you did one thing wrong. And so we said, oh God, what is it? We came up with a point system to reward the teenagers because a lot of our users said, please, no rewards, no money on the PayPal accounts of our parents. So they were, this was again, unbanked generation. They didn't want to have any kind of money on bank accounts of their parents. They want independence, they know their value, and we had to take care how to reward them properly and instantly. So we came up with a kind of point system, a loyalty program, like a Miles and More, a mileage program, where you can earn points for content creation, for conversion in sales, and for engagement. But our teenage advisory advisory board, by the end of 2017, they said, yeah, you did it wrong. And we said, God, what do we have to change? And they said, you need to tokenize. You really need to come up with a currency. And a digital one, and you need to tokenize. What's happening on your platform is also happening already every day somewhere else. It's peer-to-peer product recommendations that are undervalued and no one can monetize yet. So unless you're an influencer, unless you're a publisher already, a professional publisher, of course, you can make money with brands in a way prepaying you for posts. But if you are a casual content creator that is just promoting a product you love, then yeah, no one can monetize on that. You know, all the brands would come to you and say, what's your reach? Yeah, and then you say, yeah, I have 200 friends on Instagram. And then I say, okay. So this is that's how it's currently working. But we are believing, and we are seeing it all on our platform and with the growing interest from brands to work with us, that this is vanishing. So now it's... So we are creating the WOM token, word of mouth token, and taking word of mouth to the next level. Because what we have seen now with the users on our platform, every user and teenager already has around 600 followers on other social channels. And the engagement rate here is way higher than with some influencers who have millions of followers, but the engagement actually compared to the reach they have is comparably low. And so when you are recommending something to your friends, they are way more eager to listen to you and they trust you. So there is already this great trust relation. And therefore, when this is at a certain stage transparent, visible, then the brands and advertisers can also value it. And so this is, in a way, with this token, the goal that everyone is valued for honest product recommendations. And if we look into what's in now for the brands they are between them and their customer. Sorry, this somehow doesn't work. No. No. It's an animation, but it doesn't work. There is the customer who's really having brand love. So he or she loves the product. But between a sneaker brand and the real customer, there are all these other media companies, and there's content marketing, influencer marketing, affiliate marketing, social media marketing, email marketing. So the brands are actually spending crazy amounts of money, and they are now very far away from knowing who their customer is. When it comes to teenager, that's even harder, because between who's spending the money on the websites is mainly the parent. So they have really, even I talked to the big sneaker brands and they said, we have no customers below 18. And we said, well, all these teenagers are running around with your products, but they have zero knowledge, zero data about their real customer, because the parents are the ones who are paying for or are giving their data at the checkout. And so now, in a way, there are all these other players between brands and the customers. And if you go back now from how it all started, what was formerly the outreach possibilities for brands. So it all started with TV. It was super simple. They had their creative agencies carving out brand messages and creating, in a way, advertisement for TV. It was all in the hand and under control of the brands, and they had this few channels to reach an audience. Then the internet 1.0 came up with, billion of websites, and it was really hard for the brands to figure out how to reach this the audience now. And that was the moment of total decentralization. And then after a while, it centralized again. There were just a few players where brands could reach this audience. So the Twitters, the YouTubes, or the Facebook channels. And so now they are the gatekeeper of all this data, and they know how to sell it to all these people. and all these brands. And now we're saying, now the Web 3.0 is going to be kind of the web of blockchains. This is where it's going, getting into decentralization again, and therefore way more transparency. It's going to be a more secure environment, and definitely better, and immediate transactions will be possible between brands and their real brand fans. And this is how it's working on our platform, but we are just the first platform that is going to work with this kind of token. It is Megan, and in a way she's in the mall, she's finding a great product that she loves, and she's now making a little little video about the product she loves, and we are immediately integrating a campaign manager that can track the conversion in engagement and conversion in sales, and she is getting incentivized by every engagement, like, share, comment, and also by conversion into sales. And this is, we are issuing this new token in mid of this year. And from that on, we will be the first player that is going to work with this token. But the WOM token is going to be a completely kind of non-for-profit company or issuing company, because we really want this word of mouth to enable more publishers, more bloggers to really work with this token, to embrace the token, and to immediately make money with it. So YEAY is just giving birth to this kind of token, but we really see a great future for a lot of people on this planet to monetize on it, and not just through the YEAY platform. We are just going to be the first player in this field. And so that's in a way, it's going to be a very transparent system, because on the blockchain, I hope that at least from the base knowledge, things are way more transparent and way more direct, and it enables also micropayments without any big fees. And that's where it's, of course, very interesting for these somehow small transactions to not be overloaded by any banking fees, and so that the value can be really immediately transferred. So, and this is where we are seeing, this is again, we looked into teenagers, we learned from them that they are going or moving into this direction of a decentralized, in a way, decentralized digital world, and that they want to have digital currencies. And I dived into blockchain 1.5 years ago. I found it very, very interesting. Or what triggered me was not really the digital currencies, not the Bitcoin at that time, or Ether and the other currencies. It was really decentralized concepts, because I already had this feeling over many, many years that looking at Facebook, looking at Google, being a serial entrepreneur and founder myself, if you see all these big players in the market, you think, is there any way to disrupt them? I mean, who should be able to do so? Yeah, they are sitting already on so much. They're sitting. They created so much wealth, and they are so big. Is there still anything that could? How a new player could come up and disrupt the system, and on the other hand, I felt they are in charge of so much data, and we see it now, what happened with Facebook lately, that they have so much knowledge about us. And I found the value in exchange is just too low. And but how to be fair to all this content creation that is anyhow already happening on all these platforms, and all the advertisement that is running through this platform. And when I understood what blockchain can do, that was like, I see, there is light at the end of the tunnel. It could happen. Yeah, it could happen that new players are coming into the market, which will take care just by a system that in itself, through its automation and through the contracts and the governance in these systems, it's fairer, it's more transparent, and therefore really it will value way easier, and the creation process of content creators, of gamers, of everyone who is contributing to a community with all his or her creativity. And so that when I understood this, I really fell in love with blockchain. I read more and more things, and I went to a lot of meetups, to conferences, and I just can encourage, no matter what you're doing, no matter in which field you're working, you should really look into this. It's really a revolution going on, and it is for the, I would say, really for the advantage of human mankind. This is the first technology compared, to AI and other things where I would say, okay, we are sometimes fearing how intelligent all these systems are going to be in the future and what will happen with AI. But with blockchain, that's the other, base. It will make every transaction and every value exchange on this planet safer, secure, and more transparent, and more democratic. So in the system, in the technology itself, there is democracy embedded, and that's the beauty of it. And so I can just encourage everyone to look into it. It's in the beginning maybe not as easy immediately to understand, but there are great videos and blogs who tried in tutorials to give an easy step into this field. It's definitely going to have a huge impact on whatever we do, whatever company we are building in the future. And so I went through this through the help of the teenage generation that educated us. And therefore, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background and what my learnings were in the last year. It was a roller coaster of learnings. When you create a platform, you always envision it to be the greatest, and you think everyone should love it, and then you go through all these phases of, oh no, this isn't working, and thankfully we had this wonderful teenage crowd who helped us through this crazy process, so that we can now see already the great results, and brands loving it, and content creators being fairly rewarded. And that's what we want to empower. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie, and don't run away immediately, because we would have time for questions if people have questions for you. Question, yeah. There's a microphone coming right your way.
Well, thank you at first very much for sharing the information and this chronic of events that led to your success. What I would like to know, how did you attract the attention of the hunter in the first place so that you then boosted your success?
Well, in the first place, and this is still something we had this great advantage, but call it luck, that we were early discovered by Product Hunt. And that just happened. I can't tell, how this came. We were just in beta and just testing our platform a little bit. And of course, when one of the most well-known Silicon Valley tech blogs is somehow discovering you and saying, wow, this is, a great new space you should look in. And then people were upvoting our platform. We were trending app for 1 or 2 days. And that, of course, then led into Apple discovering us. And I have to say that this was, and it is still, Apple visited us a couple of times. They really wanted to understand our vision and our roadmap. And then they really started promoting us in the App Store. And that's, of course, for a mobile product, that's key, that you are getting... If you're not immediately building your community, that somehow you get visibility in the app stores. And it was, of course, a great start. And we received from them, we're going to support you in your full expansion and in every next step, because they really understood what we are doing here. And thankfully, they also went with us through these, roller coaster of things that worked and that didn't work. I have to say, for what didn't work was this global spread. But on the other hand, Apple said, oh, that's amazing. I mean, somehow there is something in your product or in video and shopping at that time, yeah, that seems to attract many people around the globe in 160 countries. So it was also for us, on the one hand, it was Beauty and Beast. It led to a lot of fuck-ups in the system and things we have seen that didn't work. But on the other hand, it was also great to see that there was an appreciation for the product on a global scale. And now it's about scaling, and with help from Apple, but we also received amazing press backing in a way. We got covered by CNBC, Forbes magazine, and I don't know, everywhere journalists were writing about us. I think because we were kind of the first ones in this space saying, okay, video shopping so far happened on TV in long form formats for an older demographic. How could we transform this into a mobile product for a younger generation? And so everyone was very excited about that. And from there, it continues. And thankfully, I'm still, I'm also invited to conferences and can spread the word. This is helping a lot. And people seeing that or understanding that it's here not just about teenagers. It's really about transforming the way we can monetize now our brand love and product recommendations.
Well, it all sounds amazing and innovative and all that. But I was wondering whether basically, are there any downsides to this? Because the way you describe it, it sounds like really, really like the next step in this thing. And I would like to hear if there's any risks or problems you see with it.
Tons. I don't even know where to get started. Let's say it like this. So it was before Christmas last year when my teenage advisory board said, hey, you need to look into crypto. You need to look into what you can tokenize on your platform. And I had sleepless nights. My Christmas was completely crushed. And then in beginning 2018, I started with a small team looking into how we could make this work. And so this is, of course, leading to a so-called initial coin offering, ICO. And we were now working nearly 4 months on a white paper. It is currently, I have a company with 30 people here in Kreuzberg, Berlin. And you're running a company called YEAY, and at the same time setting up, a company which is now WOM, and which is it's really running 2 businesses all at once, and now doing an ICO. It's really madness. Yeah, you need to have so many social channels, and we're just now getting started with everything. Yeah, so in a way, this is really my first appearance at a conference where I'm kind of telling the story about WOM. And so it is heavy load of work. It needs a kind of in your company, a separate team. I would say the good news for founders now is, you can do it, or even in an early stage. And I would just recommend to everyone here, because I went through tons of, contracts with venture capital, angel investors. I don't know, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I went through this a couple of times, going to the notary, signing all these contracts. They are now ICOs. And this is everyone should look into and embrace. It's, of course, not made for every concept. Yeah, you always should have this goal, what could really be decentralized? What could work, be above, your own idea or your own platform? But it's a great new way of also fundraising and getting, backing for your ideas instead of doing it through venture capital. So this is in a way also another space besides the banks that is currently fearing, we're not attractive to early stage startups anymore. 6 billion of money was invested last year in ICOs instead of venture capital. So it was way more investment in ICOs than in venture capital together. And 6 billion the last year, and the first 3.5 months of this year, already 3.5 billion. So you can, it's not, you know, it's not a bubble, or we're not talking here, also with crypto, you know, everyone is talking about it's a bubble, and or here are scams. No, these are early stage startups, and 90% of early stage startups are failing anyhow. So this is normal, yeah. But it's a beautiful new way of getting your ideas off the ground with the funding of a community that is backing you. It's kind of the best worlds of getting funding through VCs or Kickstarter projects. It's in a way the merge of everything. So you're getting the best of all worlds. So look into this.
I think we are about ready to get to lunch, so let's thank Melanie for her contribution.